Hello everyone, here to show you how to achieve 65 plus miles per gallon out of a non-hybrid mid-90s Honda Civic. If you're watching this video, you're probably aware of what this car is. This is a Honda Civic VX, 5th generation. This happens to be a 1993. They were made from 92 to 95. It's fairly obvious about some of the modifications you can see just from this shot here, and I'm going to walk us through what they are and what the more important ones are and that sort of thing. So here we go. Alright, we're up here on the front end of the car. What you'll notice is different than a stock vehicle is that the front end here has some aluminum plating. That's just stuff you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's, cut with some tin snips and riveted in. It looks a bit like an aircraft part, which is kind of cool, and it's a sort of an important part. The other part here is that there's a opening for the radiator, and you can see actually in that opening there's a plug, 110 plug, and currently all that does is serves as the block heater for the car for the winter time. I don't use it in the summer, or usually I start to use it again in the fall, but anyway, block heater's pretty important. More on that later. Okay, here we are at the side of the car. Most notable here is this mirror. If you get a good look at this, I fabricated the bracket myself. This is, a lot of people ask if it's a bicycle mirror. It's actually a motorcycle mirror, kind of an aftermarket job that I welded a little plate to and screwed to the outside of the car. And then this stuff here is black coroplast, just a filler. The other mirror is on the opposite side of the car. Get a good shot of that right here. This is actually a parabolic mirror, which is important if it's going to be on the inside of the car because you don't have the view of the back of the vehicle, so this gives you a nice little blind spot mirror while you're driving and passing. It's better than nothing, and in reality it really doesn't do a whole lot, but it does get you over the psychological factor of not having a mirror on that side. By the way, the VX didn't come with a mirror on that side from the factory, but I really liked having a mirror there, something to make me feel more comfortable. Streamlining is pretty important. If you look, this is where the antenna would be. I removed it. I've yet to Bondo this over. For right now, I just made a little aluminum cap and screwed it into the original location. Small things help a lot in the long term if you do a lot of them. And that's what I did here. So to fix that, I put in an internal, you can see up there on the dash, that's an internal mounted radio antenna, so I still have radio. Okay, here we are at the rear wheel covers. Kind of looks like an old Cadillac or something, and it adds to the real space shuttle look, and it's one of the more eye-catching features of the vehicle going down the road. It's one of the things people notice almost immediately. These help quite a bit actually. Percentages I'm not really sure, probably 1 or 2% in the long term. They're fabricated out of aluminum. I had some aluminum left over from a project from a camper actually that I took apart. They have a frame on the inside. It's also made out of aluminum right here where the rivets are, and there's a hinge in here, a single bolt here, and 3 screws, and it comes right off. And actually, so if I need to change a tire, I just need to bring a Phillips screwdriver and that wrench with me where the bolt is behind here, and I can actually swing this right out and change a tire. This is a rear camback. Its construction is also made out of aluminum, sheet aluminum. It's a thick gauge. I'm not sure of the gauge, but it has a support member right here. It's a little hard to see. There's the third brake light that I reinstalled. It was in the original camback, the little thing that came with the car. This is an LED marker light, which serves the purpose. And you can see where I attached this. Get out of the sun here. These are little brackets that are mounted to where the shocks that lifted are. Also notice the mile per gallon sticker, or MPG, on the back, which most people recognize as MPG and know what that means, and some people don't, but it's effective for being in traffic and being on the highway and traveling slower than other vehicles. It kind of gives people an idea of that you're not crazy and that you actually have a purpose to driving under the speed limit. So this modification, I'm fairly certain, helps. I know it smooths out the airflow. What it is another piece of aluminum. It's been siliconed and riveted in. It's actually 3 separate sections here. And it doesn't look like much from this angle, but this is where it becomes imperative. If you're looking up the car, you can really see that it blocks your view of 99% or 90% of those windshield wipers, which hopefully directs the air over them instead of through them, which would in effect be a little less turbulent. I can say for a fact that when I'm driving in the rain, this area of the windshield just in front of the wipers stays pretty darn dry, so I know air's not touching here. What's really happening is, especially at highway speeds, is it separates and reattaches about here. This is a full underbody panel. You can see it kind of curls up here. It's hard to see without the car being too jacked up, but it's coroplast. I made a little frame for it out of wood actually, and put aluminum plate around where the exhaust is getting close to it so it doesn't burn. And I also put that aluminum plate to protect this plastic, not just the wood frame, but the plastic. Alright, here we are at the back. It's a tough shot to get. You can see the wheel wells there and the paneling underneath of them and how they meet and all that. I actually went really close to the muffler. The Hondas tend to run pretty cold in their exhaust systems. Actually, that exhaust pipe stays cold to the touch even after a long drive. So it's heat, and it's not really a big deal to have things too close to it, but this is probably 10% of the fuel economy savings. This was a big one. Alright, here we are on the inside of the car. You can see this fan I have installed. It's a 12 volt El Cheapo. I think it was $9 or something. And what it does is, since I don't have air conditioning, this helps a lot. I can keep the driver's door just barely cracked. So in the back here, you can see that there's no rear seats. Obviously that was by design. I wanted to have a car that could do everything that I needed to do, which is to haul all of my drums. So I removed the rear seat. So here we are now at the secret weapon of fuel economy. Let's get some menus. So this CM right here, what that stands for is current mileage, CMO in the bottom left hand corner. 74.18, that was my last trip, which was last night. It was a 17-mile drive. I achieved 74 miles to the gallon. Note that this gauge is about 2 miles per gallon too high, so it was probably really more like a 72 mile per gallon trip. That was freighted, and it was a short trip, so that's pretty good. Usually on longer trips I can get it up to 75, 76, so I was pretty happy with that. Try to do target driving, keep that gauge in the upper left hand corner above my target, which is typically 72 to 74 miles per gallon. Obviously going up a hill I can't do that, but anytime I'm on a flat or whatever. It's one of the next things is engine off coasting. This is pretty important, and we'll talk about this in just a minute, but for this current tank I had 83.26 miles of the engine completely off. This is the engine off switch, or engine kill switch. It's wired to turn off the main relay, which on these Civics just so happens to turn off fuel injectors and the ignition system. It's probably cycles on a given trip. I might shut the engine off. She's probably 20 to 30 times on a long trip. And in town much more than on the highway. On the highway it's almost always not being used. I'm almost always running with the engine on. It probably varies by state, but in most states, or I shouldn't say most states, in some states this is actually illegal. Check with the laws in your state. The way the law reads in my state is that engine off coasting is illegal down a hill. In fact, it's not. The way it's worded doesn't say that it's illegal on a flat plane or going uphill. It's pretty hard for anybody to tell that you're engine off coasting if you do it right. And bump starting, usually in 4th or 5th gear, depending on how fast I'm going, is how you restart the engine. If I have to come to a stop, I just start with a key. Alright, here we are under the hood of this Honda. You would probably expect to see a bunch of modifications under here, but actually Honda did a pretty darn good job at making an efficient little engine. It's a lot for viewing. Please view the next video in the series, driving the VX, to get a feel for what it's like to see the gauge and how it actually goes up as you're driving it, and how to get that high fuel economy number. Please subscribe if you're interested in this sort of thing, and watch the other videos. Subscribe to that one too. Like it on Facebook, Twitter, that sort of thing. One other thing, if you're interested in sort of the proof, if you will, or close to it, go to gassavers.org. It's a great resource. I post on there a lot. My username is BenFrog, with 3 G's. You can see my videos on there. I mean my postings, and also in my profile there, you can see my garage and my fuel log. There's going to be a link to that in the description of the video, so make sure that you go and take a look at that. And it gives the 90-day current average of what I've been getting, which as of today is 68 miles per gallon. During the winter time that will go down, obviously, because of winter. Yeah, check that out, and you can kind of see where I'm at on any given point. So thanks for viewing. Again, subscribe, and thanks a lot. Bye.